Give me 1 second, guys. YouTube just says video unavailable. That's silly. Dan, do you know what's going on with YouTube? I'm not sure what happened. Can I make you the host and then you?
Yeah, it is good. Just hit on the YouTube page. Just hit refresh.
Oh shoot! I closed that tab.
Gotcha.
Send me the link and I will just put it on mute and have it in the background so I can look at comments. I'm so excited. So I was gone for 3 long months with no internet in rural India and lived through a cyclone. I never knew I had to live through a cyclone. I didn't know how to function like that. And 3 days without electricity. So it was interesting. It was definitely fun. It was a lot of fun. I am so fat from when you knew me, family. It's put on like 30 pounds, but lots of food, lots of traveling. We went to Singapore. We were supposed to go to Japan. That didn't happen because of the tickets issued. But yeah, went to Singapore, traveled all over India, and it was a lot of fun. I'm glad to be back. This is the longest I have not traded in a while. So yeah, I'm glad. I'm loving some of the charts here. I missed out on some massive bear action. I missed out on some massive bull action. My long-term account, however, was doing okay. So I just kind of left it at that. I was doing a couple of spreads here and there, but I just didn't want to be distracted. So I was gone for a long time, but I am back. Let's get this party started. Let's look at SPY and the Qs real quick. It's flattish kind of day. I'm gonna look at SPY on the daily. The only ticker I truly like so far for a day trade today is AMD, and we'll go take a look at it. SPY, no real gap anywhere. I thought the numbers would kind of sort of intervene and create a gap, but nothing's happened so far. So yeah, we'll just have to play it. I do think Dan's right. He put it on Slack where he said it's going to be a low volume kind of day, which I agree. There's just, I mean, you know, unless we were gapping up or down, there's not much excitement. What am I going to trade here? What levels? I don't know. Other than yesterday's high and low, I have no other level as a day trader today. So I think it'd be wise to wait till 10 o'clock, see what the JOLTS number kind of contribute to, and see what happens there. We do have a little bit of, I guess, a couple of people talking today. So Ron says, so you're going to practice on this. Well, I've been, you could take me away from home, but you can't take trading out of me. I've been looking at charts, believe me, or I've been looking at charts, but just of NQ, NQs, QQQs, that's it. So yeah, you know how normally I would scout for other tickers. I didn't do that. Didn't have proper internet, so just wasn't gonna happen. But yeah, today's SPY, I think nothing really special. Let's go look at Qs real quick. Qs are a little bit same old. I'd love it if it was gapping down or up. I think up could get really interesting. I do think, you know, if we were to take this candle out, the Qs can get really interesting. There'd be a lot of opportunity for bear call spread here. This would become a wave 3, and we could continue to go even higher. I don't know if Michael Berry would be very happy about it, but I mean, you know, if we take this candle out, especially this week, I think it could get really interesting. So yeah, if the Qs gapped up, it would be really fun, but nothing really happening right now. So we'll just go kind of to play it by ear. It's just one of those, there's just no real action. So I don't know which way to have a bias on. to be frank. So yeah, let's see what happens on the Qs. I did think, I was looking at IWM yesterday, and I did think IWM was interesting on a daily chart. With this guy right here, I do like this beautiful head and shoulders happening. Very little bit, tiny bit of a retest, and then maybe look for a rollover. It's weaker than the Qs in the SPY, right? I mean, it doesn't look very strong. This is not a very good retest. So unless we really just put some fuel in this and continue higher, I think IWM is the one to do a bear call spread in this area. Oh, let's go see. Joe says, Mom is Joe. How's it going? Yes, I'm back. All right, let's go look at AMD. So I'm kind of, we're gonna wait till 10 o'clock. We're gonna see what the numbers come out. We're not gonna rush into anything. If we want to, let's just assess futures real quick before we go to AMD. And if you guys want to look at a specific ticker, sorry. Let me know, otherwise we will just go down the list. Okay, so yesterday, the Qs had a very interesting, I think I was in the room with Emily, in the mentorship, and we had these lines drawn out. This was pre-market high and pre-market low. And it kind of sort of looked like a cup and handle pattern. And, this line kind of held for a little bit. We retested, we went lower, we went higher. It was just a very choppy kind of day yesterday. So I'm going to take these lines off today and move them to here. This will be our pre-market high and pre-market low. Now, I am on the hourly, this is a pretty decent retest for this drop down here. So it also looks like a bit of a bear flag. So I'm expecting, if we take off, I want to see what happens around pre-market high level at 150. And if we collapse, I think it could get really fun, because then the next, I guess, we could have an easy ride down to about 100 points. So yeah, I think this is a good level to find support at. I'm going to put one more line down here. Okay, cool. So yeah, this is what I'm looking forward to on the hourly. If you look at the longer term picture from that big massive candle, this looks like a tiny bit of a retest. Nothing to worry about, right? On the daily, it kind of looks a little bit funky, but on the hourly, you can see a clear picture. So this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a rollover or a continuation. I do know that we're going to be really, really, really rich. We take this level out. So this is my level drawn out in sand, and we'll see what happens here. All right, I see some comments. Starbucks, yes, let's go Starbucks. I was looking at it. Oh my God, Starbucks has one of the most interesting charts out there. So Starbucks on the daily. I just looked at this yesterday. I was talking about it with somebody else. Okay, cool. Beautiful head and shoulders and a somewhat of a breakdown so far. I had an alert going off at 95, which Starbucks went below. Today, I feel like, this could either be one of two things. Either it's just a tiny bit of a retest from this drop, or it's a massive trap. So, with this candle, it kind of messed with a lot of bear dreams. So I'm not sure if it's a trap yet or not. Today is going to be very, very crucial in Starbucks. If we do roll over today, I feel like this is going to be a great candidate again for a spread or puts, because it's been, let's see, let's look at the weekly just real quick. Weekly also has a spectacular head and shoulders, but it's also at a good level of support. So Jenny, today, I think if I am playing Starbucks, I would want to play it for a very, long for a very short, I guess, range versus, aiming for 4 or 5 points on this. Yeah, we'll see. So I'll keep an eye on Starbucks. I like it for a swing way more than a day trade today. So we'll keep an eye on this guy also. I think I have it on my list. But if not, then I'll add it. Let's go to AMD. All right, here's your boy AM Dizzle. Cute little green candle. As you can see, it's not as strong as some of the other ones from that big bearish day. Small retest, and then we tried again, but an inside candle yesterday. I am looking for, I want to play this bearish rather than bullish. It is a little bit extended off of the 10 EMA, but still, I mean, we've got room and we could easily find a bear play. So I'm definitely looking for a breakdown of this guy. And this is a pretty, you know, I mean, it doesn't scream strength to me at this point. So I am looking for a bear move on AMD, and we'll see. And I like this inside candle. So let's see what happens today. I hope today turns out to be a pretty fun bearish day. It'd be nice to play AMD to the downside. It is definitely on my watch list. This is a swing trade I did before I took a break. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, so I had the swing trade set up before I went on my vacation, but right now I'm out of the target got achieved, so I'm gonna delete that. But right now, AMD is looking pretty decent for a little bit more of a pullback. So I'm keeping an eye. This is the ticker that I want to day trade for sure today. I'm definitely looking forward to this guy. Pretty high up. Okay, cool. Let's go look at Netflix real quick, and then we'll go down the list. There's Netflix, there's Google. Netflix also has a pretty interesting pattern. Every ticker out there, in my opinion, has some sort of weakness or some sort of pullback indication on the daily chart. I don't know if this is going to be a faux bear trap and then we continue going higher kind of indication, or if this is really truly, because this has happened before, you know, where everything was head and shouldering and it didn't really go anywhere. I remember a time when that happened. I'm trying to find it, especially on Netflix, when everything, well, broader charts were head and shouldering and it didn't really go anywhere. I think over here, but it did go. So that wasn't the case. There was a time. I'm gonna find the time and come back to you guys. But yes, Netflix also. I feel like today, if we did have bad jobs numbers or if we did have good job numbers, we could get going in either direction. But right now, it's hard to predict. Today is not the day where you could be like, oh, definitely going bearish, definitely going bullish. So we're gonna have to give it a little bit of time and maybe just go 10 EMA plays. Okay, cool. I'm surprised the home price index did not make the markets move. Jason says, my puts agree with you on AMD. Yes, AMD is such a good looking bearish chart right now. I mean, especially today with a very small retest, you know, compared. So every chart had this big red candle, right? And you expect a retest, sure, but this is a pretty big retest compared to what AMD has, right? So that to me tells me there's more weakness. Okay, cool. Let's go look at NVIDIA. This is a ticker I've been watching. So I tend to, it's just my personality, I tend to chase these things. I tend to make assumptions and say, okay, well, now it's reached its highs. Especially when something's ran up, you know, 600% in like 2 days. It's kind of, I tend to get in the way. Catch a falling knife is what I like to call it. So NVIDIA, it's just wise to stay away from it, for me at least as a trader. As far as the day trade's concerned, I think the most amount of money that can be made on NVIDIA, like I would really think of risking more than 2 hours or maybe a little bit larger of a risk. And inside, nothing really happening, kind of, I'm not really excited about this. I mean, if we took this guy out, then maybe for a bullish momentum, although I'm not, I mean, 481 is where my target would be. This is, let's put a line up here. this could act as a pretty good level of resistance. So if we do take off, then that's where I would take a partial and then see if we can continue higher. As far as a day trade's concerned, I mean, this would be very interesting if we took this candle out. That would be a really fun day trade, but not really happening. So not really looking at it too much. Let's look at NVIDIA on the weekly. Has it had any red weeks at all? Look at that. Let's just, yeah. So we looks interesting too. So the thing is, there's nothing that can make it go bearish. I mean, nothing on this chart says it's bearish. It's a massive bull run, right? But then I also don't want to trade it bullish. So if it gives me an opportunity to go bullish, sure, we could look at it for a quick day trade. As far as swing trading is concerned, I don't know. I think you could have made a lot of money on this day on NVIDIA right after earnings. It was the most easiest short if you played it pre-market or right at open. Lots of people profitable, and it gapped up massive, pretty easy reason, plus around a whole number, pretty easy reason to short it down. So yeah, PDD, that's what Dan says. Let's look at PDD, Pinduoduo. This guy, let me take this off. Whoa, what happened here? Is Baba gapping up too? What is this on news? A massive $10 gap up. I would wait. So on PDD, let me see what the news is. Give me 1 second. Earnings. Oh, okay. Here, yes, earnings. Cool. On PDD, I would wait for some sort of buying to come in and see if it can fade. I mean, this is a gap and go, but we're gapping up quite a bit. So I'm not sure if the bears are going to be super afraid, and I do think it could pull back a little bit. So what I'm waiting for is a little bit of a buying coming in around 92 range and then looking for that rollover. I think that would be really interesting. Or it could do something like this, where a little bit of sell-off happens and you could buy the dip on it and to continue higher. But yeah, this is a pretty decent gap up. Let's add PDD to our watch list, and we will keep an eye on it. I'll move it just below AMD. All right, cool. Good deal. I like where it's gapping up to also. I mean, if it was gapping up over here, I would most likely short it. I would look for a quick in and out kind of short on PDD. Although it is a pretty decent gap up, some bears might want to close out their position. So let's see. If we get buying it open, I'm looking to short it. If we get a little bit of a droppage at open, then I'm looking to buy the dip. Either way, we'll have to keep an eye on this. I'll leave this as the tab open, and I will leave AMD also as my tab open. All right. And then we will move on to Google. Let's look at Google and then Tesla real quick. We have some time. So, all right, Googster, nothing much really happening. Although I do like this chart. Google's doing well. I'm glad it has not collapsed. I remember I think vaguely when I left, this was in June. No, I left in June. Never mind. We were up here. And I remember looking at a 10 EMA scene going, oh my God, Google's definitely going to fill this gap, or at least come down to here and retest this level. But the fact that we haven't done so tells me that it's still going and it's got strength in it right now. It's got this massive inverse head and shoulders. On a weekly, you could probably see it much better. All right, cool. So yeah, I like it. If you look at it from a broader perspective from way back when, this is a pretty decent bull flag, I would say. And we're breaking out of that. For a day trade, I wish we were gapping up or down, or just some sort of excitement in the charts, but there's just no excitement anywhere other than PDD so far. So for a day trade, I would like it above here. If I want to go long, I want to go long above all of this resistance. I'd be looking for a 10 EMA play here for a long above all of this mess right here. For a short, I think my target would be the 20 EMA on a daily, 129.60. Would be my target over here. So we'll see how this guy plays out. I think 10 o'clock number, hopefully it makes the markets move a little bit. Otherwise, it's just going to be a boring day. Just slow moving, nothing really happening kind of day. The fact that it's getting bought up a little tiny bit is interesting. So maybe we'll keep an eye on Google for a bull move up. This is the kind of retest I want to see from that big candle dip. Right, so this is a pretty decent retest, and if it continues higher, I know that we're going to continue much higher. So Google looks interesting. Let's go look at Tesla. Tesla had an interesting dip, and then it's trying right now. So I'm still trying to decide if it's doing just a tiny retest and rolling over, or if it's just going to continue to bounce, and this is just a little smidge of a whatever. So we'll see. Tesla's also very interesting. Yesterday was a pretty awesome. If you took that trade with Jeremy, that was a pretty spectacular trade. Pullback on Tesla. It was a retest gap, and it made all the sense in the world to trade it down to. I think his target was the 20 EMA. On the daily, which made sense. So yeah, this was a pretty decent trade yesterday. Today on Tessie, same old, we're gapping nowhere. So I think short below here, long above here. This is a pretty cute high wave candle right now. So we'll have to wait and watch and see which way it goes. I'll put two lines over here just because we take this out. Maybe things change in a little bit. If we take this candle out, I feel like it could get really interesting. Although on a shorter time frame, when I was looking at it on the hourly and the 4 hours, on a shorter time frame, it looks like it could continue on. It looks like a little bit of a, well, yesterday without this bear move, it looked like a little bit of a cup and a handle type of situation. I don't know if it's going to get, if it's going to continue up, but if it does, this could get interesting, which is why I have these two levels. We'll see which way it wants to go. That high wave candle definitely is looking interesting. Tessie, let's go look at Meta. Wow, you guys are really quiet today. No tickers. No one's looking at any other tickers. I'm going to clean this up. We'll look at Meta real quick. This guy also, double top, interesting candle from yesterday. We had a hammer and then we had a continuation. Hammer fairly had a good, decent support level, right? And then we had continuation. So I'm really interested in seeing whether we roll over from here or we create this double bottom and continue higher. It's just going to be one of those interesting kind of days to see what happens, decision kind of days to see what happens. It would be in everybody's favor if we continued higher, because I think it would kind of scare some of the bears and we could get some big bullish days if that happened. If not, then I think we're just going to slowly enter a downtrend on Meta, or I think the whole broader market. To be honest, the shock factor is what creates these big volatile days. But if there is no shock or if there is no surprise, then there's really not big movement kind of days. Plus October is a little bit of a dot. I think everyone's just ready to go back for the long weekend and then come back in September, all brand new, as pointed out by my friend Emily. Let's look at Mara and BBY. Best Buy. Ooh, this is a pretty decent gap. I like this retest gap. So long above 74.30. And if it gets here right at open, then I wouldn't touch it. So for a day trade, let's just go look at this guy real quick. For a day trade, I'm looking for this gap fill area. I'll add BB to Google, and pass by on my list right now for long. Yes, so I'm waiting for this gap fill and then a continuation to the 10 EMA. That's what my plan is, Rajiv. So I'm really just looking for a drop at open and then buying the dip all the way up to the 10 EMA and then see if it continues a little bit higher. It is a bear trend, honestly. So I don't know how much of a continuation we're gonna have, but I think up to the 10 EMA, pretty decent range. I think that's definitely doable. Let's come back to it in a bit and we'll see if it takes off. Let's look at Mara real quick. Oh, this, my friends, is a beautiful chart. This I like. Who said Mara? Who brought up Mara? Jenny. Okay, cool. Jenny, this is awesome. I like this. This is exciting. So, pretty bad retest, if you ask me, just like AMD, but AMD is a little bit better, tad bit better. Pretty bad retest in comparison to this big red candle. We're at a very, very good level of support right now. Although I feel like if we take this candle out, we're coming down to this level. For a day trade, I don't know if that's plausible. I don't know what Mara's average true range is, but for a day trade, I would be looking for some buyers to get trapped up open and then a rollover. That is exactly what my plan is on Mara. If this thing starts bouncing and maybe takes out this candle, then it might be a good idea for a swing trade to go long on this thing. But I mean, it's at a decent level of support right now. I like it for bear continuation rather than bullish continuation. Okay, cool. There's a big short flow on Mara. Ooh, I see. What's it at? Do you know, Ron? Okay, somebody said on Tesla, the daily chart. Give me 1 second. What about the daily chart on Tesla? It's the first bearish candle above the 10 EMA. Let's go look at Tessie real quick. Yes, it is the first bearish candle above the 10 EMA on the daily chart. Yes. So if we take this candle out, I mean, feel free to enter a swing trade on this, at least all the way up to here. There's nothing along the way till 265, which is a pretty decent range. I mean, that's a 20-point range and your stop doesn't have to go very far. It could just go here. So yes, but for a day trading perspective, I think we would all make a lot of money if this thing went a little bit lower or took out this candle. I'm thinking of it in a day trading perspective, but swing trading, yes, absolutely. This is a pretty decent candle, pretty decent high wave candle. So we take this guy out, I think we could continue a lot higher. On the shorter term, the signs are there. We made a higher low compared to this guy. Maybe we take off. Maybe we are in this wave 2 right now and continue to wave 3. I don't know. But for that to happen, we need to take this guy out. We need to take 244 out for that 20-point run up. All right, my friends, it is time to say goodbye to YouTube land, but I'm still here with you guys at RLT. Let me just turn off the live stream. Thank you guys. If you enjoyed this, give us a thumbs up, like, and subscribe to our channel.